Mary Jo is a food service cook at Nesicus Middle School in Dalton, Massachusetts. She will be demonstrating the safe procedures for operating a slicer. Because of the sharp blades, moving parts, and electricity, using and cleaning a slicer can be dangerous. Please review the segment on electrical safety before using this piece of equipment. This illustration shows the parts of the slicer that you should know. Before using a slicer, you need to follow a few general safety guidelines. Do not wear loose clothing or jewelry because they can get caught in the equipment. Before starting or changing food preparation tasks, wash your hands. Follow the food code and your standard operating procedures for glove use. And be sure all equipment, pans, and utensils are clean and sanitized. Keep your hands and utensils away from the blades when the slicer is being used. Use only the handles to move the food back and forth as well as to apply pressure to the food. Never leave the slicer unattended when it is on. You or someone around you could get hurt. Now Mary Jo is going to show you how to safely use the slicer to slice cheese. Check that the thickness indicator knob is set to 0 and then check that the electrical outlet and the machine are switched to off and unplugged. To start, plug the machine in. Make sure that the tray will hold the food in the position closest to you. Place the food onto the tray, adjusting the meat grip so that it holds the food in place. Now, use the indicator knob to choose the thickness that you want to slice the cheese. The thickness indicated by the knob will differ from machine to machine. Some slicers will have the ability to slice automatically as well as manually. Check your standard operating procedures to determine whether to use a manual or automatic setting for the food you are preparing. Mary Jo will demonstrate using a slicer with both settings. If you will be slicing manually, make sure the slicer is in manual mode. Turn the machine on. Now, use the handle to push the tray back and forth to slice the food. Never use your hands to move or hold the food, or leave the slicer unattended when it is on. When done slicing, turn the machine off. Set the thickness indicator knob back to 0. Unplug the slicer. If you will be slicing food automatically, engage the automatic mode lever. Then turn the machine on. The slicer will now begin to slice the food. Never use your hands to move or hold the food or leave the slicer unattended when it is on. When done slicing, turn the machine off, set the thickness indicator knob back to 0, and turn the machine back to manual. Unplug the slicer. Safe cleaning directions. When you finish using the slicer, clean and sanitize it to prevent cross-contamination. Follow lockout, tagout procedures. First, to protect you and other workers from the blade, double-check that the thickness indicator knob has been set to 0 and that the slicer has been turned off and unplugged. Follow your standard operating procedures for the use of safety gloves. Tell anyone working around you that they will be removing the top blade guard. Loosen the knob at the center of the blade to remove the top blade guard. The blade is unprotected and dangerous. Remove other removable parts. Using warm water and mild detergent, carefully wipe all surfaces of the slicer, including the blade. Rinse with clean water. With mechanical lever or someone to help, wash and rinse underneath the slicer. Sanitize the machine and allow it to air dry. Never put the slicer in water. Never use steel pads to clean the slicer. Wash the removable parts in the pot and pan sink using warm water and mild detergent. Rinse, sanitize, and allow to air dry. Sanitizing time will depend on the type of sanitizer used. Check your operation standard operating procedures. Do not wash these parts in the dishwasher. After everything is dry, you can carefully put the slicer back together, starting with the top blade guard. Remember to change safety gloves and wash hands between handling soiled equipment and handling clean equipment. If you believe your slicer is not working properly, tell your supervisor. Never try to fix it yourself or ask anyone who is not trained. This concludes the slicer segment of the training. Please take a few minutes to answer the review questions provided by your supervisor. You should get a demonstration in addition to this training to ensure your safety when using the equipment. If you have any questions or need more help to safely operate the equipment, ask your supervisor. Remember that slicers may be different, and you should always refer to the user's manual provided by the manufacturer for specific instructions, or ask your supervisor.